Geico makes it easy to get affordable renter's insurance in as little as 90 seconds. That way, you have more energy for harder things, like the laundry. Why is it so difficult to fold clothes? They just end up wrinkly anyway, or on the floor in a pile that just sits there, taunting you. But with renter's insurance through Geico, at least you know that those clothes and the other things you love are covered. Get more with Geico.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for February the 10th, Monday, 2025, and February 9th. Well, first of all, I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
February 9th, yesterday, was the beginning of our 7th year of real life, real crime, and how it has morphed, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, get the old, the new, the couple solved cold cases, some we're working on. And the news, crime news.
Funny thing is that I do not remember the exact dates of our drive, but I remember exactly what I had on, exactly what you had on our drive, going to Biloxi, the going back past the house when I said the words, and how it just like a light bulb went off in your head and we just started rolling with it.
It went off after I listened to the number 1 and number 2 shows.
Exactly.
Like, boring.
And I watched it just kind of like in your head. And when you have that moment with Woody Overton, you know that moment's happening and you're like, oh shit, what the F did I just do?
Yeah. So February 9th wasn't that date. That was the date of our first drop.
That's right.
So
that's the first. Christina. That's right.
2 months before.
That's right.
David
Double clutch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, double clutch. Mm-hmm. But so that being said, unfortunately, I told you all these things come in threes. Our hearts go out to, I haven't seen them pull any survivors out on the plane that was on the way to Nome, Alaska, which is where I want to go gold mining. And it's down. That's 3 that I know of. Mm-hmm. I hate it. Prayers for them.
It's so sad.
It was a full plane. I think they said 12 people. Nome's a small mining town. The only way to get there is by boat, and this time of the year by plane because the Bering Sea is frozen.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but airplane accidents are heavy up there. They're high.
They're higher than anywhere else because they have more planes than anywhere else.
Okay.
That's how they get around Alaska.
Yeah.
Everybody has, it's a lot more small personal plane crash. This was a commercial airline. Right. So hauling people to Nome, probably seek their fortunes in gold. But prayers for them. And Super Bowl is over. And Sin and I got to go last week to New Orleans for just a couple of days. And it was the week before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen so much security in my entire life.
I haven't either.
Cops everywhere, motorcades constantly running, military vehicles that I've never even seen before.
Yeah.
Troopers on every corner, and it wasn't even the weekend yet.
Right.
So hopefully, and we are recording this today earlier, hopefully no one does anything stupid, but I feel like if you want to be safe right now, for once, New Orleans is the place to be.
Well, I was thinking that, but I also just read that a reporter, I don't remember where. I
read it too. The reporter from Kansas City found dead in his hotel room. A female was
arrested for it.
Looking at using his debit card or whatever, charge card throughout New Orleans. But unfortunately, when Super Bowl comes to town, prostitution comes to town and trafficking and all that. So, but I'm not saying that's the case because I don't know, but I don't know why else this chick would be in this hotel room.
Yeah. Well, they were staying at a Homewood Suites and they just started scurrying. The other reporters that had come in from out of town were scurrying to find, a safe place to stay. But my goodness, I mean, like, you're going to move in the middle of the night? Like, that doesn't make sense,
I've moved in the middle of the night for hotels.
Well, yes, but you actually had someone in your hotel putting pubic hair in a bed, like.
Balls of pubic hair.
Yeah.
So, that being said, let's get down to some true crime time for Monday, February 10th. Ladies first.
So, I am going to take you to Illinois, and a man has been arrested nearly 13 years after his bride was found slain in her wedding dress in her home.
Okay.
And the man was immediately thought to have killed her, and they started searching for him. The police did, but he had already fled to Mexico.
Okay.
So they've been waiting all of these years to find him in Mexico. So the name of the woman was Estrella Cadera, and she was 26 years old. She was in her bathtub in Burbank, Illinois on May 13th, 2012, and less than 48 hours after she was married to Arnaldo Jimenez. Authorities in Cook County charged her husband, Arnold Jimenez, then he was 30 years old, with first-degree murder on May 17th, 2012. But soon after, federal authorities issued an arrest warrant against him and a federal charge of unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. So recently, he's finally been arrested in Monterrey, Mexico. And the FBI in the Chicago field office said that he has been taken into custody without incident. But when her body was found in the bathtub, she was wearing a silver wedding dress. She died of multiple stab wounds, and she had been stabbed 18 times.
Nice.
Carrera was the mother of a 9-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. And she married the man without anybody knowing, and the kids were at family members during this time. She never called or checked on the kids. And so her sister notified the police, and they responded to the residents for a welfare check. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they found her body. But the mother of 2 had not disclosed to anyone she was getting married. And it was immediately clear who the suspect was, but luckily he was arrested. But in 2019, the FBI announced a $100,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. And then the amount was updated to $250,000 in 2023. And the FBI acknowledged the contributions of the Burbank Police Department, Mexican law enforcement, and the public in leading to his arrest. Jimenez is being held in Mexico as he waits his extradition to the United States. It's believed also, I read in another story about this, that he stabbed her first in his Maserati and then pulled her up to the bathtub. I mean,
he's rolling heavy. Huh?
Yeah. And so obviously a Maserati, and you flee into Mexico. You can 1953 rusted out piece of shit Maserati. Well, it could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Could have been. I don't know. Maybe you need to look up that wanted list. $250,000. I'd have probably taken a couple of days off, try to go find him.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it that way.
Yeah.
So going back to New Orleans and all the different law enforcement agencies, we saw the state police and I guess members of the National Guard. And I know Governor Landry is real big on security, but federal agents and state agents and SWAT teams. Remember that?
It was impressive.
On every corner, shit I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, one of the agencies that was there was ICE, mm-hmm. Immigration Customs Enforcement. Mm-hmm. And I guess if you run around with a badge and a gun on, probably, I'm thinking being a cop, you run around with a badge and a gun on, the other cops might not even question you.
When there's that much of, I agree.
We did see one of them, it was stacked up. It was 7 or 8 different agencies. They were having a pre-meeting.
Yes.
Probably a pre-shift meeting where, hey, you're going to stand here, you're going to stand here, mm-hmm. and et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they have some communications with each other, but it's really, really hard because it was hard if you had 20 deputies on duty and you had 3 different tacks or radio channels for them to go off of, and it's still hard to communicate. But there's this dude, and it's 22 years old, Adion Stelgman, and it was from Temple University. You know where that is?
Temple, Texas.
Right.
That's the only temple I know of.
I'm assuming that it's the same thing. Adion Stelgman, who's 22, and 2 other unidentified suspects were, guess what? They were dressed up as ICE agents on the university campus.
I believe it.
Right? And so a Temple University student was suspended and arrested after impersonating a U.S. Immigration and Customs, well, it doesn't say Customs, U.S. Immigration Enforcement Unit, ICE, agent on the school's North Philadelphia campus. I guess we were both from.
Yeah, I guess so. Temple University, I guess so, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so him and the other 2 dudes were acting like ICE agents on the school's campus when they tried to enter. Of course, somebody evidently, figure they were too young or something. I don't know. They were denied access to the Johnson and Hardwick residence halls just after 9:30 p.m. on Saturday. It's definitely Philadelphia. That's according to CBS News in Philadelphia. So Steigerman and the other 2 were just shooting the shit before they all left the area in a Jaguar SUV. That might be a giveaway.
A little bit.
I'm pretty sure ICE, that none of the vehicles we saw were Jaguars when all the cops were down there. But around 10 minutes later, the cops were notified that Steigerman and 1 other suspect were wearing shirts that said police and ICE, and that they were disrupting the businesses. Mm-hmm. Right? The third person was recording the incident. Here we go again, trying to get famous. So they were located after investigators used footage to track the Jaguar SUV. And at 10 p.m., Steigerman was arrested by the police on whatever block. Steigerman was charged with impersonating a public servant, and he's placed on an interim suspension. And the university says, any student found responsible for this conduct will be subject to disciplinary action under the Student Conduct Code, up to and including expulsion. Impersonating law enforcement officers is a crime. This behavior and harassment of Temple community members will not be tolerated. Now, the Temple University PD, TUPD, and the Philadelphia Police Department are investigating the incident. But Steigerman's arrest follows the university, what happened on January 29th, and they notified the student body that neither Temple's Department of Public Safety nor the Philadelphia Police Department have any reports of federal ICE agents being on campus. Mm-hmm. So people are,
of course,
they were harassing people. So it's crazy. And look at the picture. This is a young kid. I mean, I would know he's not a federal agent.
Oh my gosh, he's got long
got a goatee, bushy, young
bushy
kid, blonde hair.
Yeah,
and everything.
I mean, not that blonde hair keeps you, but
probably running around harassing people that look
not even wearing the uniform
or whatever,
correctly, and everything else.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
So there you go. Steigerman and his boys got arrested. Playing the police. What they really got is a fucking problem. They better hope the feds don't pick up the charges. Yeah. Because if they do, then they're going to get mandatory prison time. But being, Temple PD, I don't believe they're going to get anything. They'll probably get a campus ticket.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a Steve Paragoy life lesson.
That's my father-in-law, who is retired Border Patrol.
So he always told me that because I would work late hours and I worked at the mall as manager of the mall, not of the mall, but of a store in the mall or whatever. And we would, have to do like merch change outs, like in the middle of the night, and have the whatever work till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And so he would say, if you are pulled over, and I lived a mile away from the mall. He said, if you are pulled over, if a cop turns on his light, you do not stop. You acknowledge that you see him. And then you drive your butt to this driveway, and then you get out of your car. He said, there's so many, and this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's before cell phones and everything.
Yes, there are so many people impersonating police officers. And if you stop at a light and he gets out of his car and he tries to get you,
he also lived on the border.
Yeah, I did.
And a lot of that kidnapped the blonde haired, blue eyed girls and stuff was going on.
Yes.
But y'all, if you get pulled over, now with cell phones and you have cell phone reception, just call 911 and say, hey, look, because it's automatically going to go to the same dispatcher. Just list to you, get pulled over and say, hey, look, I'm being pulled over. I want to make sure this is a real cop.
Exactly. And so he would just say, make sure that, you are in a safe place that is fully lit, that they have their credentials. Don't roll down your window till you see proper credentials and all of that. So I'm just, because we don't know these days. I mean, people are.
Yeah, I know you can call 911 and they'll figure it out.
That's the perfect thing. Yeah. So. But like you said, that was before cell phones. So This episode is sponsored by MIDI Health.
MIDI Health is here to change the way women experience menopause care. As a husband, I've seen my wife Cyndi navigate the challenges of menopause, and it hasn't been easy. Keeping up with her symptoms while feeling dismissed by traditional healthcare providers was tough for her. It was disheartening to hear the doctors say it was all in her head, or to just focus on diet and exercise. I learned that many healthcare providers lack training in menopause, which is shocking. 80% of OBGYNs report they are untrained in this critical area, and 75% feel uncomfortable discussing it with their patients. Thank goodness Cyndi found MIDI. MIDI is a virtual care clinic dedicated to truly seeing, hearing, and understanding women's experiences. It was created by women for women, and they accept insurance in all 50 states. Getting started is simple. She visited www.trymidi.com/real, set up her account, and entered her insurance information and shared her symptoms. She was able to choose a convenient time to meet her clinician. During the virtual visit, she discussed her symptoms and health history in detail with a nurse practitioner trained in perimenopause, menopause, and weight management. If she needs any tests like blood work or imaging, they help coordinate it with a local facility that accepts her insurance. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now she can follow her treatment plan and schedule follow-up visits. MIDI even collaborates with her other doctors for in-person treatment if necessary. Best of all, there are no hidden costs, no membership fees, and MIDI bills your insurance directly. MIDI also offers fantastic products, including compound semaglutide and estriol face cream, which Cyndi loves. This prescription skincare product is designed to improve skin elasticity, hydration, and texture, addressing those frustrating changes related to estrogen decline. So if you're ready to take charge of your midlife health, go to www.trymidi.com/real. That's www.trymidi.com/real to schedule a virtual visit. Join more than 200,000 women who love and trust MIDI for their midlife care. Y'all use my code SAFE15 to get $15 off your first RX product when you book your visit.
Genetics can be beautiful. Maybe you got your mom's eyes or her great skin, but genetics can also be a nightmare. I hear friends say, I got my mom's belly and love handles. Don't let genetics be the thing that holds you back from getting the body you deserve. Check out the Permanent Solutions by Sono Bello. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please make your appointment today. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal. What is micro fat laser removal? Micro laser fat removal is a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, wherever your problem areas are, the fat is gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/RLRC. That's SONOBELLO.com/RLRC.
Now we get some Woody Overton.
Yep.
Modern advice on that.
Right. We barely had cell phones in my day.
The PSA of the day. I recall doing a story about this not too long ago, and this kind of makes me somewhat happy in a horrible way. There was a teacher who was found stabbed to death 20 times in her apartment, and the medical examiner ruled it a suicide. Do you remember that?
Yeah, somebody actually sent me information on that case.
Yeah. So now he has now gone back and ruled it a homicide.
Yeah.
And so,
Man, and I said, you're a bad motherfucker if you can stab yourself 20 times.
And some of it in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would have been a long, obviously.
What happened?
We are going to Philadelphia.
Back to back.
Back to back. The pathologist who ruled Ellen Greenberg's death a suicide says he was wrong to do so in a new sworn statement.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen Greenberg's death is now considered a homicide. And the 27-year-old Philadelphia teacher was found dead with 20 stab wounds in the chest, abdomen, head, and the back of her neck in 2011.
Yeah, stabbed himself in the back of the neck.
Despite authorities ruling that Greenberg's death was a suicide after saying only her DNA was found on the knife and her clothing.
Not always going to leave DNA.
Her parents have maintained the belief that their daughter was murdered. So now Marlon Osborne, formerly of the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office, says in a sworn statement that he should not have ruled Greenberg's death a suicide.
I guess he was just having a really bad pathologist day.
Well, Osborne wrote in a reported statement, which is part of a statement agreement in a lawsuit, based on the consideration of the new information brought to my attention after leaving my position as medical examiner for the city of Philadelphia, along with my original autopsy findings and information considered while I was actively involved in Ellen's case. It is my professional opinion Ellen's manner of death should be designated as something other than suicide. And so this goes to show that in cases, if you don't have the proper information, sometimes
just
you
like
make...
Haley's.
Yep.
That's why we're working #Justice for Haley.
Exactly. And so the story goes to the backstory. So Greenberg was found dead in 2011 by her fiance, Sam Goldberg, after he returned to their home in Philadelphia. And Goldberg told police he was unable to get into the apartment because the swing-back bar was in use. Do you remember those bars?
Yeah, locks the sliding glass doors.
Yeah. And he eventually forced his way into the residence where he discovered Greenberg dead with a 10-inch knife in her chest. Joseph Pedrosa, Greenberg's parents' attorney, said that the knife was never fingerprinted and that there were signs of a struggle in the apartment. So Pedrosa also says that Joseph and Sandra, who are Greenberg's parents, never wanted monetary damages from Osborne, but rather an acknowledgement that she did not die by suicide. And sometimes that's just what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets so many people reaching out, and a lot of them are cases are ruled as suicide, and I get it, but on almost every suicide, that people didn't want to believe the person did it, but then, you find, whatever it may be, they gave away their most prized possessions, whatever all those hints are. But I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
So
it's 20 stab wounds, including the back of the neck.
The family attorney goes on to say, it's a tremendous statement by Dr. Osborne, as far as I'm concerned, and a courageous one. The only thing unfortunate about it is how late it is that it came, and it should have come earlier, but we are grateful he's done the right thing.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, and this one is definitely going to be trains, y'all. This is crazy. We're going to New York City, and this guy, his name is Joe Linsky, and he's 45, and he said, I felt the hardest shove, and I was flying through the air. That's what he told the New York Times. And this happened on New Year's Eve of 2024. So now he's come out to speak about it, y'all, and he said, on the afternoon of December 31st, 2024, he was on his way home to Brooklyn to get ready for a Wicked-themed New Year's Eve party.
And he's waiting on the train at 18th Street Station in Chelsea. And guess what happened? Well, he said, like I told you, he said, I felt the hardest shove and I was flying through the air. I saw the two lights of the subway train and I could see the shape of the train operator. That means that motherfucker was close. He said, I had one thought when I was in the air. I've been pushed and I'm gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
Can you mean you can see the lights on the train right there, right?
Yeah.
And those tracks, I mean, I know you know, they're like 5 feet off the platform, yeah. So the Manhattan DA's office confirmed that Camille Hawkins, 23, was indicted on January 22nd of 2025, and he is facing charges of attempted murder in the second degree, attempted assault in the first degree, and assault in the second degree. Now, according to the AP, the suspect pled not guilty, naturally, but at approximately 1:33 p.m. local time, broad-ass fucking daylight, as the train was entering the stations, Hawkins approached him and, for no reason, unprovoked, shoved him onto the tracks, which caused several injuries, including multiple broken ribs, a fractured skull, and a ruptured spleen. You better be glad.
That's dangerous.
You better be, well, all of his fucking fractured skull, broken ribs, all of it's dangerous. You better be glad the damn train didn't hit him.
Wow.
He was taken to Bellevue Hospital. He spent 5 days in the ICU before he got to go home. And then he had 7 days of therapy at home after an attack. And he had the support of his family and friends and his sisters, Kathleen and Elizabeth, who flew in from Florida. But he said it was very surreal seeing clips online of the attack while he was in the hospital. It came up on my TikTok feed immediately. And I saw myself standing on the platform, and it was very surreal, is what he told the Times. It just happens so fast, and you think, I must be dead. He said, I felt my head smack onto the tracks. I felt my ribs crack, which is, y'all, if you hadn't had cracked ribs, it's one of the most painful things in the world. And I opened my eyes, and I was underneath the train.
Jeez.
Right? It was a fraction of a millisecond, and I would have been dead or paralyzed. It's crazy. The Times reported that if Linsky or his clothes had touched the third rail, which runs outside the track and electrifies the subway, he would have been electrocuted.
Damn.
Right? He said, I lived in New York for 25 years, and when you ride the train long enough, you know what the third rail is and how dangerous it is. I knew not to move. I knew not to kick. I knew not to struggle. That's crazy. I wouldn't have known that. But firefighters risked their lives after making the decision to try and get the victim out without shutting the railway's power off, which could have taken 15 minutes. But they have arrived on the scene in 4 minutes. But Mr. Linsky said that 4 minutes felt like an eternity.
I bet it did.
Right?
It reminds me of the game Operation, where you have to get the little thing out without touching anything.
Well, thank God he knew about the third rail,
I
but
know.
I'm not done yet. He said, it's dirty, it's dark, it's terrifying, it's wet. I was in a pool of my own blood because I fractured my skull. And this is what he told the New York Times. And he said that while underneath the train, I knew life was going to change forever. It was the most intense pain I ever experienced. He said about being taken off the tracks by his arms through an opening between the two train cars. But despite his traumatic experience, he insisted he thinks he would ride the subway again eventually. You got to get around. A lot of people in the city don't have cars. He said, I can't be a New Yorker and not ride the train. Linsky, and he thinks the New York City and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, their MTA, need to do more to make people in the city feel safer. And this is what he told the outlet. He said, it's impossible to live here if you don't take the subway. As for the attitude moving forward, Linsky had told ABC News, my whole life has changed. Yes, it's a powerful reminder that this can all be taken away from you at any moment.
and you have to keep going. Life is too short, and I'm going to keep going. Absolutely.
Wow.
Craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude got arrested and got indicted for just shoved the motherfucker just because he could. I hope they make it a hate crime or something, you know?
I know.
Chances of surviving it, and you wait till the train's pulling up. Can you imagine the luck that dude? I mean, I understand some luck, right? Even though you may be the only person in the United States that year to catch brucellosis, at least to live through it.
Right.
This dude got shoved underneath the train that was coming and didn't hit the third rail, and the train didn't cut his ass to pieces.
Right.
Still fucked him up there.
I would say so.
Not to make it a competition, but I was in ICU longer than him, or the hospital and home health care.
In the hospital and home health care, yeah.
Just teasing, Mr. Linsky. I'm glad you're alive, buddy. Glad you're alive. It's time for Family Matters. Start over.
Well, I am glad that he's alive because we're going to Atlanta, Georgia, where a couple is not alive.
Where Haley was from.
And they died at the hands of their son-in-law.
Uh-oh.
We're going to leave this story really wondering more. Like, we don't know. The investigation is underway with this, so we have no intent, like why the son-in-law did what he did. This is more about who the victims were.
Right.
So Michael McKenzie, who was 72 years old, and his wife Darla, who was 68 years old, lived in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, and they were found dead on Tuesday in Alabama. Police say the couple had been visiting their daughter's home in Etowah County, Alabama, 2 hours west of Atlanta, when they were shot by the daughter's husband. The son-in-law, Christopher Scott Johnson, was charged with capital murder and is being held without bond. Mike McKenzie had gained a reputation as an attorney who specialized in arson cases. Mm-hmm. And he specifically, those in which they refer to as junk science, was used in convictions. John Lentini, a Florida-based certified fire investigator, said he started working with McKenzie in the 1980s on insurance cases. They were fire insurance. So eventually they started working together on wrongful convictions of arson cases. McKenzie made a name for himself working with the Innocence Project on fire, like arson cases. And so like there's one case that he worked where they said that the explosive used was gasoline and
accelerant.
The accelerant used was gasoline, and he through junk, and they found that out apparently through junk science. So he went through and had real science done and determined that it was not gasoline. And someone that had been in prison for like 27 years was finally let out. And so he did cases like this working for the Innocence Project.
I'm all about helping somebody that's innocent get out.
Yes.
And been contacted by the Innocence Project several times, but some of them, like State versus Scott Peterson, where the Innocence Project takes it up just because it's high profile. Fuck that.
Are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Look no further than Factor. Factor offers chef-made gourmet meals that are dietitian approved and can be heated and enjoyed in just 2 minutes. Perfect for fueling your body and feeling great, no matter what life throws your way. Factor makes it easy to eat well and stick to your nutritional goals. Factor delivers fresh, fully prepared meals right to your doorstep, making it ideal for anyone with an active, busy lifestyle like my family. Are you looking to shed a few pounds? With Factor, you can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto Meals. This is based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto. although results will vary depending on individual diet and exercise. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's simple to find meals tailored to your specific goals. You can choose preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto, ensuring there's something for everyone. Factor helps me feel my best all day long, and it can help you too. Factor offers wholesome smoothies, delicious breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and so much more. Their variety makes it easy to stick to your nutrition goals without feeling deprived. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and helps my family stay on track with our health goals, making healthy eating not just achievable, but enjoyable. Recently, I had Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice. Imagine tender, juicy chicken thighs, perfectly seared and sauteed to golden perfection. Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice dish brings together rich, earthy flavors that will satisfy your cravings and leave your taste buds dancing with delight. This gourmet meal features succulent chicken thighs paired with a savory mushroom sauce that's bursting with goodness. It's complemented by a hearty serving of fluffy wild rice, expertly seasoned to enhance the flavors of chicken. Each bite is a harmonious blend of textures, tender meat, creamy mushrooms, and wholesome grains. Ready in just 2 minutes, this dish is not only easy to prepare, but also nourishing, providing you with the fuel you need to tackle your day. Whether you're a busy professional, a parent on the go, or just someone who appreciates a home-cooked meal without the hassle, Factor guarantees convenience and taste. So why wait? Treat yourself to a culinary delight with Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice, the perfect balance of flavor, nutrition, and simplicity. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/RLRC50OFF and use code RLRC50OFF to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code RLRC50OFF at factormeals.com/RLRC50OFF to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Have you heard of Mood.com? They sell federally legal cannabis gummies. Everything you'd expect from a dispensary, and ship it right to your door. 0 pants required. I'm serious. You can now get high-quality, 100% federally legal cannabis products delivered right to your door without ever leaving your couch. And you can get $30 off your first order at mood.com/RLRC with promo code RLRC. Mood partners with small American farms to bring you amazing high-potency THC gummies, home-baked cookies, top-shelf flour, vapes, and more. And third-party lab-tested, backed by a 100-day guarantee. No dispensary lines, just clean, quality, 100% federally legal THC from the farms to your couch. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get $30 off their first order with code RLRC. So head to mood.com/RLRC, check out their online dispensary, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code RLRC when you check out to save $30 on your first order.
And so his work has led to over a dozen people being let out of prison. Yeah. So it's not clear what happened between, the in-laws with the son-in-law and why the murder, but everyone is just really saddened by the loss of him because he's changed so many lives. The wife was also an attorney, but she was more of a corporate attorney. And not that she's not changing lives, but she didn't have that influence of, the Innocence Project. So it's just really sad, that such someone that obviously he worked for the Innocence Project for free. And, he did everything it says that he did everything pro bono with them. So, I mean, that's giving a lot of time free time. And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
But they study these cases for a long time before they take them, generally the ones, that I've been asked to review, et cetera. Because they get similar requests every day from people who actually aren't innocent, but do whatever. And, I'm sure there are some innocent people in prison. I just hope I never put anybody there that was innocent. for, or charged with something they didn't do, and I don't think that I did. I mean, I can't even think anywhere that was close, but as firm believer I am in the death penalty and everything else and doing your time for the crime and all that, I'm also a firm believer in if you're innocent, you shouldn't do the time. So, and you should be released. And it does happen, unfortunately. That's just the way that it is. Planes, trains, and automobiles, and these MFers need to be in jail. You know, we're talking about the plane crashes recently, right?
Yeah.
Right after one in Washington, they had two dudes that got arrested. You know what they got arrested for?
No.
They were charged, the airport employees.
Wow.
You still want to guess what they got arrested for? Right after the crash?
Mm-mm.
Well, they got arrested for computer hacking, where they accessed surveillance footage of the last week's fatal mid-air collision near the Ronald Reagan National Airport, and they leaked it to CNN.
Wow.
So the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority said in a statement that two employees have been charged with making unauthorized copy of records that belong to the airport's authority. And this one dude, Mohammed Lamine, 21 of Rockville, Maryland, was arrested and charged with computer trespass on January 31st. One day after the American Eagle flight from Wichita, Kansas, collided with that Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac, and, as it was preparing to land, as we all know, at the Reagan Airport, and all 67 people on board both aircrafts are dead. So Mbini, or however you say his name, was booked, but he was released on his own recognizance, etc. And 2 days later, on February 2nd, another airport employee, which means Mbini, ratted this dude out. 45-year-old Jonathan Savoy of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, was also, look, almost nobody that works in D.C. lives in D.C. We know this. It's all surrounding areas. And Maryland's right there across the line. But he was also arrested on a charge of computer trespass, and he was also released on a summons by a magistrate judge. Now, the MWAA wouldn't tell you exactly what they did, but it's fucking self-explanatory, right? And because what they stole immediately shows up on CNN.
Yeah, right.
And CNN, of course, was like, we ain't making a comment. Talk to our legal department.
Oh my God.
Motherfucker, you get look, I don't understand I understand social media and all that bullshit and whatever, and people trying to be famous, but fuck, these motherfuckers had specific intent. Mm-hmm. Like, ooh, I have access to that surveillance camera. That might have been security guards. I don't know what the position was, but they went in, probably pulled it up, probably shot it on their cell phone. Mm-hmm. The actual people moment where 67 plus people died.
Yeah.
Mid-air collision. Mm-hmm. And knew the cameras were on it. And they're going to go take this shit and sell it to CNN.
I mean, the thing is still under investigation, right?
Nobody knows anything. It could have been a terrorist attack. It could have been, that could have been a threat to national security. It could be anything, but that's not the point. The point is you just gave, it's like people jumping from the World Trade Center. I can't even watch that shit. Right. You just gave the whole world access to these people's not even last breaths. They didn't even know what was going on when they were burning alive in the fucking sky, and you're going to do it to make a penny.
Well, all I could think about as you say that is when the space shuttle, blew up, and all the news channels had it on, and
but that's because everybody was watching the space shuttle take off. That's in the early 80s.
I know.
This dude they had to go break into a computer system to find a camera to just watch 67 souls die.
No, this shouldn't have happened.
And it's fucked up. Yeah. Fuck them. They're fucked up people for today.
Absolutely.
And CNN's fucked up for showing it.
F the bad people.
Yeah, F the bad people, and I hope they sue the bejesus out of, not bejesus, I hope they sue the shit out of CNN. I wouldn't want to, I mean, what if our kids were on the plane? You wouldn't want anybody. So they're making, okay, like true crime, we make a living off of telling these stories and stuff, but we're not sensationalizing it. That didn't need to be shown.
No.
The investigators should have seen it. But we're not showing, I didn't show you Haley's autopsy photos.
Exactly.
I didn't show you dead body photos on different cases and stuff like that. And I could have, but I don't do it because the story is dramatic enough without these assholes stealing, didn't belong to them.
Right.
Using their access, they were granted the trust and security by the airport and whoever, and fucked it up.
You're absolutely right.
Fuck them. Fuck the bad people. F the bad people.
But it's good and bad in every profession, right?
Yeah. Always has been, always will be. Fuck the bad people. They suck. And prayers for those families and all the rest of the Plains families. All those people that have died in the last week and a half. It's just sad. But I guess, they statistically, it's still much safer to ride a plane than drive a car.
Right.
So I don't know the answer to it. But that being said, we're going to wrap it up for today. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be bringing you some fresh stories, and we love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Look, cold case tips, they keep coming in. Y'all don't forget about Miss Barbara Blunt's case. Please call in your tips. I promise you they're all been looked at, no matter how many times we get the same tips. And what I can't look at, I pass on to Sheriff Ard and law enforcement. Haley, hashtag Justice for Haley on Fridays. Continue to listen. We're getting into the meat of the matter now. And just stay with us. And y'all are catching on to it. People are really, really into it now as they understand what happens. And so go listen to it, catch up on it. It's a lot of audio, including this audio that we're playing now for you.
Yeah.
So and prayers from Miss Barbara, of course from Miss Barbara Blunt, but Miss Barbara, Haley's mom and Stella and everybody who knew and loved her. And we need to get justice for the state versus Scott Peterson scorched, and it is crazy scorched. It's crazy how many people were following this case. And I'm going to continue it until it's done. It's in the death penalty phase, and it's just absolutely egregious, the shit that was done in this case that you've never heard about. It's the only reason I'm talking about it still. I know. And evidently the people, because the numbers don't lie. Yeah, y'all, we look at our numbers all day long. It's, it's what we do.
It is what we do.
But back to the cold cases. Send it if you have any information that I can promise you. The ones we're looking at first are the ones that have the most information. And send it to Cyndi, CYNDI at realliferealcrime.com. You can send it to me, but I'm just going to send it to Cyndi. Mm-hmm. I was saying send it to Woody at realliferealcrime.com. You can still do that also. Go download the Real Life Real Crime community app from the App Store for free. Everything Real Life Real Crime's in one place. Yes, we know we're 7 years in now.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of different shows you're getting. Mm-hmm. The original Real Life Real Crime, me telling old cop stories, will be back when we're done with Peterson. And then we're working cold cases now. And we got this show, True Crime Time 4. And we thank y'all for liking and listening and sharing it also. So, and thank y'all, everybody, for all the birthday wishes last week. That was amazing. Y'all are amazing. And I always say, and always will say, lifers are the best fans in the world.
Yes.
Put you up against anyone. And everybody wants another crew bash. We'll try to put something together this summer, wherever it's a weekend that nothing's going on and everybody can come. So that's all. That's all I got.
Right.
And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.